Something shifted inside the Browns front office, and most fans don't even see it yet. Schwarz, the defensive mastermind, has suddenly risen to the top of the head coach odds. But this isn't just about rankings. The team is balancing between keeping proven leadership and taking a calculated gamble on youth. Yudinsky, Shieldhouse. Every choice now carries hidden consequences. Which direction will Cleveland actually lean? And what does this mean for ShedeurSanders, the roster, and the coming season? By the end of this video, you'll understand the subtle moves shaping the Browns' future, moves almost nobody is noticing. Yet, when you step back from the headlines, there's a subtle shift happening in Cleveland that most fans aren't registering. Schwarz's rise to the top of the head coach odds isn't just a number on a leaderboard. It reflects a front office quietly recalibrating its priorities, weighing experience against potential, stability against calculated risk. For weeks, the narrative centered on finding a young leader, someone to mold alongside the existing roster. But now the scales are tipping. Schwarz's value as a defensive architect is undeniable, and the organization is realizing that keeping him might outweigh the allure of youthful prospects.
The young guy with Jim Schwarz as defensive coordinator. And it's a slippery slope they're trying to balance here. They're telling candidates, hey, we want to keep Jim Schwarz. They must be telling Jim Schwarz, hey, we're going to bring in a new head coach. Thanks for interviewing twice, but we want you to stay at DC. And maybe he feels a little bit slighted about that, right? So you're playing this game where you're trying to make everybody happy, and it starts to get a little difficult. But I think what their ideal scenario is bringing a Yudinsky or Shieldhouse.
The timing of this shift is crucial. Interviews with Yudinsky and Shieldhouse are still pending, yet the Browns are already signaling intentions to keep Schwarz close. This isn't reactive, it's strategic. They've observed patterns, how young coaches handle pressure, how players respond to leadership changes, and how internal dynamics evolve under scrutiny. Each decision now carries a ripple effect, from draft choices to free agency, and yes, even the development of ShedeurSanders. The subtlety of this pivot lies in what isn't being said publicly. No press release captures the negotiations, the internal debates, the weighing of contracts and potential. Yet behind closed doors, the team is balancing a delicate equation. Keep Schwarz as DC, possibly reward him financially, while integrating a younger voice who can grow into a head coaching role. The balance between retaining trusted expertise and embracing a new era is razor thin. Make the wrong move, and the ripple could affect everything: locker room trust, roster cohesion, even fan perception. And here's what makes this moment different from previous off-seasons. The Browns are no longer just reacting to external narratives. They are proactively shaping their own story. Every interview, every meeting, every subtle shift in candidate preference is part of a bigger asterisk pattern. Observing these moves carefully reveals the organization's thinking: retain what works but leave room for evolution. This is not about headlines. It's about positioning for the next season and beyond. By the end of this process, the implications are clear. If Schwarz remains central, the defense stays anchored, ShedeurSanders' growth is protected, and the team maintains a strategic edge. If the young candidates take the lead, the narrative changes, momentum, culture, and risk are suddenly redistributed. Understanding this subtle pattern shift is key. It's why some outcomes seem obvious in hindsight, but at this moment every move matters. And the next few weeks will determine which path Cleveland ultimately chooses, beyond the candidate list. The real story lies in the Browns' leadership dynamics and the subtle pressures shaping every decision. Schwarz is more than just a defensive coordinator. He's a linchpin in the organization. His past success with the defense isn't just numbers on a stat sheet, it's influence, credibility, and trust within the locker room. Any change at the top must account for these relationships. Promoting a younger head coach without acknowledging Schwarz's centrality could disrupt a carefully built culture. Inside the building, decision-makers are weighing multiple factors simultaneously: the experience Schwarz brings, the potential of emerging talent like Yudinsky and Shieldhouse, and the long-term trajectory of players like ShedeurSanders. This isn't about choosing the flashiest name. It's about who can navigate internal pressures, maintain trust with veterans, and instill confidence in rising stars. Every meeting, every conversation, every subtle nod of agreement or hesitation matters. The organization is reading signals constantly: how players react in practice, how coordinators communicate, how potential head coaches adapt under scrutiny. What's striking is how the front office is managing expectations externally versus internally. Publicly, they emphasize youth, growth, and innovation. Privately, they recognize the need for stability. Schwarz embodies that stability. His relationships with other coaches, his understanding of the roster, and his proven ability to execute under pressure give him leverage that numbers alone cannot measure. This leverage shifts the calculus on who is truly ready for the top job. And it's not just leadership at the top. Trust patterns ripple throughout the organization. How candidates interact with assistant coaches, scouts, and front office personnel reveals alignment, or lack thereof, with the team's culture. Misreading these signals could cost cohesion, delay progress, or even create fractures that manifest later in the season. Observing these behaviors helps the Browns determine which candidate fits without forcing a gamble. The underlying pressure is subtle but relentless. The organization must balance public perception, financial constraints, and team culture, all while positioning itself for future success. Each choice carries implications beyond wins and losses. Trust, respect, and influence within the locker room are just as critical. In this environment, Schwarz's experience becomes a stabilizing force, a reference point for young candidates, and a safeguard against missteps that could derail the organization's strategy. Understanding these internal dynamics reveals the quiet power of timing. Bringing in a younger coach without a mentor or overvaluing public sentiment risks creating instability. Conversely, leveraging Schwarz's credibility to guide emerging leaders maintains a forward momentum that preserves the organization's long-term vision. This is the chessboard behind the headlines. Every move is deliberate, every interaction observed, and every decision calibrated to maintain trust, authority, and alignment.